Hey, you. Good evening and morning to you. It's Thursday, July 25th, and we got some interesting news and updates for the incoming 3.24 patch, as well as the most anticipated patch ever, 4.0, featuring the Pyro system. So we're going to take a break from the 1,000 clip editing and just get through this by letting the B-roll flow. Like up, sub up, and ring up like a boss. A fellow citizen by the name of Karga has consolidated what is functionally a master list of questions and answers about the new personal hangars that the community has been asking about. The list is technically unofficial since CIG didn't create it, but from what I see, it seems to be accurate and was even co-signed by Nico from CIG. Hope I didn't butcher your name, sir. But first, let's take a quick look at some new that they added to 4.0. The Zeus Mark II CL has been added to release view for the 4.0 roadmap. The CL is a cargo variant in the Zeus line, slightly smaller than the C1 Spirit with double the cargo somehow. Acidic caves will appear in both the Pyro and Stanton star systems and will be the first caves with pools of water. I imagine in Stanton they'll likely be on Hurston in the acidic biomes, which were formed as a result of the unchecked industry on the planet, so you might not want to take a dip in the pools, boss. There will be new rock caves lit up with bioluminescent mushrooms, which makes me think of the store window logos on every head shop ever. Caves are cool, but this right here, asteroid bases. They're described with the following: implementing new asteroid bases scattered across space in asteroid clusters, gas clouds, and other areas of Pyro. From exploration type gameplay to mission-based locations, these bases include both constrained interiors for potential FPS conflicts, as well as space combat while reaching or fleeing from the location. How can you not dig that? If you look at the photo, you can make out a couple landing pads on the exterior here. I think they place it at the edge of the image so we don't see the scale of it. And you gotta wonder, how big are they? We talking bunker size or distribution center? What you think? Hopefully this sets the stage for future player built asteroid bases where you can make your home somewhere disguised as just some unremarkable rock among others. Contested zones on space stations. So areas on space stations tailored for FPS gameplay that lets you progress by collecting tokens to unlock more areas with more loot. Once you catch them, collect them all, you can open the final door and collect the grand prize, maybe a giant pico or the wheelie mammoth. It's good to see more progressive gameplay in the mix. We saw some during the lead up missions to Xenothreat, which was very cool. We got folks working together and gave us something different to do. Hopefully we get more progressive missions, events, and adventures that take weeks or longer to complete. Shout out to Karga for compiling this info here, since having access to the new content doesn't mean you know all of it at once. This should answer most, if not all, of your questions about hangars and freight elevators. Here we go. All hangars are instanced and persistent. What that means is that any hangar you're in is streamed out and you're in your own copy of that hangar. So if you land in Hangar 5, you'll be put in your own instance, and somebody else can come along a few minutes later and land in Hangar 5 and be put in their own instance. The all hangars are persistent part means that you can leave vehicles or items laying around and they'll stay that way. But if you're in a public hangar, meaning it's not your own hangar in your own primary residence, then once you leave, all those things will be lost, like after you check out of a hotel room. This one's dope. There's no armistice zones and hangars anymore like they showed on Inside Star Citizen. This will allow you to pick up weapons and stock your weapon racks. The law's still in play, but it's a free fire zone, and I'm looking forward to holding some interesting events in the hangars now. Maybe some non-lethal events too, American Gladiator style. Hangar decorations don't lock. Anybody can move them, so keep an eye on randos in your party if you got some shinies laying around. There's no cargo grid on the hangar floor. Freight elevator only for that. Any party member can access any other party member's hangar. Again, watch out for the randos. Trespassers take 8 seconds to teleport out the hangar in the current test server, but according to the most recent Inside Star Citizen, it'll be 30 seconds, which is more than enough time to steal something good from a hangar before vanishing with it. But weapons are live, so you can shoot them down and with no legal consequences as long as they're trespassing, which means they can also put a hole in you first. So again, be careful who you let in your circle. Hangar type, as in arrow view or self-land, are dictated by the location. There's currently no way to change this. I wouldn't expect anything more. Maybe let them get everything working before demanding that hangar that came with some of your ships. It'll come, chico. It'll come. To reiterate, your personal hangar is the one hangar you're assigned at your home planet. Public hangars are every other hangar in the verse. The size of your personal hangar is determined by the largest flyable ship in your RSI site hangar. If you have a loaner that's larger than what's flyable in your RSI hangar, then that'll determine your hangar size. Buying a ship in-game with credits will not upgrade the size of your hangar. Buying a ship on the pledge store currently will not upgrade the size of your hangar in 3.24, but they're discussing it internally at CIG, so we'll see what happens after this coming patch. So whatever hangar you start with in 3.24 is what you'll have at least until the following patch. Setting your spawn point to a ship or vehicle medbed does work, so that means if you give up the ghost, you can spawn in your hangar. Sounds exciting, but the range limits are still in place, so if you die and you were farther than 50 kilometers from your tier 2 bed or 20 kilometers from your tier 3 med bed, you wake up in the hospital at your primary residence. So from a practical perspective, doesn't mean a whole lot, but you could land, set your spawn point in your med bed, strip your gear off, go shopping, trading, whatever, then backspace, wake up in your ship or vehicle med bed and take off without the commute back to the hangar. And that's how you see the bright side. Now, can you bed log out and back into your ship in your hangar? I have no idea, so I have to go try and get back to you real quick. Nope. Bed logging works just as it does now in 3.23, meaning you cannot log out in your ship bed in an armistice zone. So as convenient as that would be, you still have reason to avail yourself of the hospitality the cities have to offer. Small freight elevators, which are what you'll find at outposts, can only fit size 16 SCU cargo containers or smaller. If you could fit a ship or a vehicle on a freight elevator, you can use that to store it. That's actually useful if you want to swap out vehicles without having to store your ship first. What I've actually found is that you can store the vehicle no matter where it's at in your hangar, so we'll see if that gets changed. Cannot spawn vehicles on the freight elevators right now, but that's been the plan for some time and will come in a future patch to be named later. DCs, aka distros, aka distribution centers, have medium freight elevators on the landing pad and large ones in the hangars. If you notice, the DCs only have a couple hangars, but since they're instance, doesn't matter if they're occupado, you can still land there. Settlements that sell commodities have small freight elevators. To use the automatic loading option, your ship needs to be stored first. A button to do that from the commodity terminal would kind of be nice. Think about that. Hauling contracts currently don't have an auto load as an option, which kind of puts Anvil Carracks out of commission for hauling until they get the cargo pods online, unless you want to manually drag boxes up the ramp, through the P-ways and into the cargo area. Would you be down to do that 60 plus times? There's a lot of room for boxes in the ground vehicle hangar and even the ship hangar up top, but neither has a cargo grid, and loading to the top would take some testicular fortitude. You can do either one, but it's not ideal. You can auto-load more than one ship, which is very cool for hiring a buddy or two to fly a convoy of freight. Like I mentioned in the last vid, and ISC just showed us, you now need to select which size of containers you want and how many. So go out there and get familiar with your ship cargo grid so you have the optimal combination of boxes in mind. I think later on, the cargo grids will be represented visually as part of the UI, which should make that easy to manage. My additions to what wasn't mentioned on the list or in the latest Inside Star Citizen episode is that you can repair your vehicles on the freight elevator, which will save you some time and from having to claim them. Hover trolleys have been canceled for 3.24. They got a lot on their plate with higher priority items, so we can live without those in the Drake Mule for the time being. The X1 base model is available to buy at Lureville. Poetry snaps. CIG really need to address what security measures will be in place at outposts with armistice zones. In the last video, I brought up the fact that if you move a cargo at an outpost, then anyone can either track the beam your cargo away or just push the button on the freight elevator terminal, sending it down and making it theirs now. I mean, maybe it'd still be marked as stolen, but that's very little comfort when you've lost your cargo with nothing you can do about it. Other than that, 3.24 is shaping up to be a solid step in the pursuit of a fully physicalized universe and presents some interesting opportunities for emergent gameplay with the removal of the hangar armistice zones, manual and automated loading trade-offs that might encourage more cooperation, and a new inventory system which will let you do some longer-term commodity speculation since you can warehouse them till you're ready to sell. To take a look at the characters that'll be helping you load up and man your ship stations in the future, check out this vid. YouTube isn't exactly generous with the revenue it shares with content creators, especially gaming content creators, and especially in a much smaller space sim niche, so I appreciate the support and keeping the channel going. Big salted caramel and chocolate pieces and vanilla ice cream shout out to the good folks supporting the Dig That and Space Sim Marts. Shout out to Almost Over for the generous donation. Thank you, my friend. To my executives and to everybody supporting via Patreon, YouTube members, and super chatters. My name is Dig That, and I think VKBs are the best bang for your buck. Fly dirty, citizen.